prison in the United States was built in Philadelphia in the year of 1790 when the Walnut Street Jail added a new cell house to its existing jail and devoted the new cells to the confinement of convicted criminals. One of the more known prisons is the federal prison on Alcatraz Island located in San Francisco Bay, California, which jailed some of America's most dangerous criminals from the years of 1934 to 1963. And the history of this prison branches back to the year of 1775. In 1775, a Spanish explorer by the name of Juan Manuel de Ayala maps San Francisco Bay and names an island de la Alcatrazes, or Island of the Pelicans, due to its large population of seabirds. In April 25th of 1846, the Mexican-American War begins. By the year of 1848, it ends and California becomes United States property. Gold is then discovered along the American River and the gold rush begins. In the year of 1850, a joint Army and Navy commission recommends a triangle of defense to guard San Francisco Bay. President Fillmore signs an executive order to reserve lands around San Francisco Bay for public purposes. Alcatraz was one of the areas set off as reserved. In 1854, the Alcatraz Lighthouse begins to function as the very first lighthouse to operate on the Pacific coast. In 1861, Fort Sumter is attacked by the Confederates and the Civil War begins. Colonial Johnson prepares the defenses of San Francisco and then resigns. In 1863, J.M. Chapman, a Confederate privateer ship, is seized and its crew is arrested and imprisoned on Alcatraz. Also, the lower prison, a temporary wooden structure, is built. Soon other prison structures are added onto it. Finally, in 1865, the Civil War ends. Troops on Alcatraz are sent to San Francisco to preserve peace and help prevent rioting after the assassination of President Lincoln. Alcatraz cannons fire the official mourning for the assassinated president. In 1895, 19 members of the Hopi tribe are imprisoned on Alcatraz for resisting the policy of forced education on their children and land allotment programs contrary to their beliefs. From the period of April 1898 to August 1898, the Spanish-American War took place. This resulted in overcrowding at Alcatraz. In 1900, the upper prison, which is Alcatraz's second prison, is built on the parade ground. In the year of 1907, Alcatraz is designated as a Pacific Branch U.S. military prison. In 1912, the new cell house, which is built with prisoners' labor, is completed and new prisoners move in. Alcatraz's third prison still stands today. A few years later, in 1933, Alcatraz is transferred to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. 32 of the worst military prisoners remain on the island in civilian custody. Alcatraz has housed many dangerous criminals, one of the most notorious being that of Al Capone, who had the nickname of Scarface. Al Capone was born in Brooklyn, New York in the year of 1899 to an immigrant family. He quit school by 6th grade and became associated with a street gang. In 1920, during the height of Prohibition, Capone's multi-million-dollar Chicago operation in bootlegging, prostitution, and gambling dominated the organized crime scene. On October 17, 1931, Capone was sentenced to 11 years, $50,000 in fines, and was forced to pay court fees totaling over $30,000. The judge refused to allow Capone to be released on bail, and he was confined at the Cook County Jail until arrangements were made to his transfer to Atlanta. On May 4, 1932, Capone began serving out his federal prison sentence at Atlanta. He then took advantage of his situation and was transferred to Alcatraz prison in August of 1934. He could not manipulate the prison system of Alcatraz and spent 4.5 years there before he was transferred to yet another prison, and once he was released from there, he died in his home on January 25, 1947, due to complications of syphilis. In the Alcatraz prison, 13 official counts were made every 24 hours. Officers in charge of SHOP would make 6 verification counts a day to make sure no one escaped. The prison itself was very functional until, of course, it was shut down. The Alcatraz prison was closed on March 21, 1963, after 29 years of operation. It closed because it was too costly to continue to run, and even though it is now closed, Alcatraz itself has had very extensive history behind it, whether it is the land itself or the federal prison.